Well, here's my bedside again. I sanded it off. It was real flat. Looks like I should have put a little more up there in the top. But this is a very thin coat. And I did the same to the back there. Basically, this is good as I'm going to get. I probably should put a little more on top, but my back's killing me. I can hardly get up and down, and bending over with that DA and putting body filler on is really no fun at all. But this should be plenty good enough. I'll sand it off, and this should make everything all straight. I did primer that section there where I welded it. It looks alright. And I put a little bit of what was left of my Bondo again on that fender. But basically, it hurts just to get up and down. So I think that's gonna kill most of my working on anything today. But I'll probably be able to maybe sand this and get my fender on it, and maybe make that little bracket back there today, but it's really hard getting around, so probably not going to be much done today. Well, as long as I'm not getting up and down and lifting anything, back's alright. So what I did, I put a piece of 3/8 round in here and made this straight. It's super solid now. I've got some dents in here, but I'll fill that with Bondo. And I split this in two places because that patch wasn't completely perfect. Well, it was pretty bad actually. So that gave me I'm able to move this. I welded this rod real good here in the end. A lot of this was patch, and some of it, like right in there, was a bead. I put some other little beads in it. And up in there I didn't do too good because it wasn't really clean. And it was hitting the paint. Anyway, this is all in and solid as a rock. Hit a couple more places in here where the bolt holes had holes. And this I need to do something with. I'll pound it out a little straighter, but it's just tin at this point. But the main thing is this bed now is really solid. It's not moving around or anything. You can barely see it moving. Flexing the fender just a little. So that's all in and good and solid. Now I'll grind my welds down a little and pretty it up. I guess I ought to spend a little more time learning how to weld. I'm getting pretty used to this welder. Every one of these beads was a different technique. Here I was kind of going back and forth trying to melt it up into the thing. Here I was just staying right in the crack. This was probably my best deal. Here I was kind of going around in a circle trying to trying to patch it. Here, this one was mostly on the rod, and then I was kind of trying to flow it up into the thing. This one here was just, I was tacked on both ends and I just filled it. So anyway, not the best looking weld in the world, but it penetrated all the way through. And it's strong. And I don't know how straight I am. Got a big old block of wood here. Yeah, I got about a 1/4 of an inch. Right in here, I'll try to bend it out a little. But can't do too much with it, or an oil can. But this is good enough to bond it up and get it good and flat. So that's one of the things I found on the other fender. I got it fit in the bed, and then I got the bed straight and the fender wouldn't fit. So this time I'm straightening the bed first, and then I'll put the fender on and trim it. Well, here it is, kind of ground down. I'm not going for a beauty contest or anything. This is just rough sanded with 40 grit to give the bondo something to stick to. I've got quite a bit of dents down in here that I'm not going to be able to get rid of without a lot of work. So I'm going to just try to coat this with bondo and see what kind of results I got. If it's too bad, then I'll have to try to bend it out. Well, there's first coat. Pretty big low spot right in there. Really no way to fix that. I mean, there is. I could pound it out, dolly it, but I got the bed in and there's no way to pound. I can pry on it, but I did a little shrinking there with heat, but it's not oil cannon, and it's pretty close, and all the outside is looking pretty level. So I'll let that dry. Probably I'll knock off the stuff with a DA. Probably another 1 or 2 thin coats, and that should be pretty good. I don't know what that front's gonna be like. I think it's pretty straight, but see, it's got a little curve in it there. It's possible that it could oil can, but that bondo's pretty strong. Once I get it filled, it'll be all right. I'll let it dry and have a break. There's Mr. Bed done. There's 3 little coats. There's probably a little over 1/8 of an inch right here in the middle, but basically it didn't take too much. I'm gonna have to put one more right in the middle, but I'll let this dry overnight. I'll come back tomorrow and DA it down, and then we'll patch up anything little. Basically it looks real good, I think. I put my little straight edge up there. It's real straight, probably within a 1/16 of an inch, and the bottom we don't really care about too much, and probably only the top part, because this fender's kind of going right through here, so even if this is a little low down there, I don't really care because it's below the fender. We just need to get that line that's from the top of this fender down to that corner. Basically that's got to be real straight, because that's where the fender goes. We've got it laying up here. Tomorrow I'll try to weld up some of this rust. You can see the bottom here is pretty chewed up. I'll clean that up, strengthen it, and we can get it mounted. Measure it, get it the same as the other one, and be able to move on. This one over here, I don't have my lights on right now, but this was my little final coat. It's dry. Basically this just needs a little sanding with the DA. This side's done, and of course I didn't do anything to the front here. I just put a little bit of stuff I had left. Looked like I might have one or two little high spots. I've got something to fix right in there. Anyway, another day of working on this, and this will be alright. I couldn't work on it too much today because my back hurt, but I did get something done. Well, I sanded this down this morning. Got a few low spots in it, nothing real bad. I knocked this front part down here. It looks alright. Plenty of dust in the air today. Well, I just got through sanding it. So, throw some more Bondo on here and see what we got. I gave this another whack. Looks like I need another one or two little coats on that. This one here turned out to be pretty straight. Didn't see much of anything in it. I'm gonna let this dry. But got this fender piece here that has a lip on it. I've got some Fender welt. It looks like it'll go on real well, but it needs some kind of a lip. So this fender's pretty much done. So what I was thinking about doing is just cutting this up. This big piece here will be real nice. I can probably put that right in this area. That'll give me some place to put a bolt in it. I won't have to make an external bolt like that. And cut up this little part. And this has about 3/4 of an inch of flat on it, and I can put that on the inside of this fender. I'll probably have to cut me two or three pieces, but I think this will be enough to do much of this fender. But I'll probably get most of it done. And I've got a couple more pieces I cut out. Well, I've got the exact same part. I cut up 2 of these fenders, so that should be enough to do that. I was looking at this one. It's in pretty bad shape. So I need to straighten it out, make a template from this fender. I've still got my old template I made to cut that piece. Weld me a stainless piece around here in the bottom and work on that. So I got a bit of welding while I'm waiting for the Bondo to dry. Meanwhile, I can cut this up and see what I got. Now I got this piece tacked on here. I don't think I changed this curve much, if any. I think it's pretty straight. I've got it just barely on the inside of this lip. Put it on the car and see what it looks like. Well, this piece fit on there real good. I've got this other chunk that I cut out here off of that other front fender, and I'm just setting it in here to see where it fits, and it looks like it's fitting real good right here for a couple feet, and then it starts crawling up a little. So I'm probably gonna cut this right there where it starts getting away from me, probably about 8 inches or so, and do the same thing with this. Put it on the inside, tack it flush, and then once I've got it on, then I just take my hammer and make this angle fit the bed, and then I'll take this piece that I cut loose, or cut the end off, and I'll try to get it up in here. I may leave a little bit of space here with no lip, and I probably need to make some kind of a lip for this front part. And this is all to hold the welting. I'll show you what it looks like. Well, this is the welt, and it's about 1.5 inches wide. Got a 3/16 bead on it, and this fits right down in here like that. So the reason I'm putting this flat place on is so when I bolt this on, this welt will cover this gap up. If I don't have anything to hold it, it'll probably just pull out. But I need to, so I'd either have to glue it to the bed or glue it to the fender. But if I've got it with a little flat plate in there, that'll squish on this bottom part and hold that welt in there flat. Now this is a lot more than I was planning on doing with this car, but it is going to look a lot better. See, this will This will give it a nice trim. That's the main reason that I'm putting these brackets here on the fender, is to hold the welt. I could miss a few inches, not a big deal, but I want to try to get enough up on there to hold this welt good up against the bed, and it won't come loose. So like I said, this I was just gonna put it together rat rod style, and but knowing me, when I start doing this kind of stuff, I start thinking, well, you know, it needs to be better. And first thing you know, I went from just putting it together, running and driving, to basically as good a job as I can do. So anyway, that's the purpose of me putting this lip in here, is solely to hold that welt. And I'll figure it out on this fender. I've got a flat side here. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do down in there. I may just mark this shape on a piece of flat metal, cut it out and weld it in. I really can't get any bolts in there. I could. I gotta crawl up under it here because the bed's in there. I may put at least one in there just to hold the welt. And it's going to have a little bit of problem right there where it's crossing the top of that inner fender. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and work on that welt mount. Here I DA'd what I had down. You can see my 3 shiny spots there. That's the high point. The rest of it's pretty flat, so that right there in the middle is low. So I've got a drywall knife. I can keep doing it a little bit at a time, but I got a 8-inch drywall knife. I'm going to try to smooth Bondo across there and get this flat in one go. Now I got to looking at this, and even though I got a low spot here, this was real high, and I was a good 1/4 of an inch out on the back. So what I did, I just knocked some of this Bondo off of here, and what I'm doing is heat shrieking this metal. I heat it up real hot, pound it in, and then cool it, and that shrinks it. So I'm trying to get it flush back here. You can see over here I got 1/2 inch. So this whole section in here has got to be shrunk. I'm going to heat and shrink that part right there. I'll show you what I'm doing there. I'm just going to heat this up. Well, it starts to change color. I don't know how many degrees that is, but you can see it turning blue there. I'm going to take the fire off of it, pound this in. I really caved it in a lot. And a wet rag. shrunk that pretty good. I probably got it way too low now. Check it with my straight edge. Yeah, it's way too low. So I need to shrink this part now. I'll do the same thing. I'll just heat this up real hot, give it a whack, and knock it in. Just heat it up until it gets good and hot. Whack it with a hammer and then heat shrink it. You don't have to hit it with a hammer, but once you get it soft with heat, you see it's getting pretty hot right there. You can't really tell, but it's coming out. So now I'll hit it. Well, I pounded it in right there. Hit it with a wet rag, and that shrunk this spot. You can see how much dent I put in it doing that. And my straight edge again. Now I'm pretty low. I'm flush in the back, pretty much flush here in the front. Some of this bondo in the middle's got to come out now, but I'm pretty good against that metal. I'm pretty good all the way across here. This high spot right here, that's got to come down. Just heat it up. This one I'm not really gonna pound on it. I think that's not that bad, so probably just cold water will be enough to shrink it. I should have scraped some of the bondo off. I didn't. That high spot's done. Hit it with a wet rag. Didn't really get it hot enough. But I shrunk that pretty good. Yeah, I can feel the dent in it. So we took that high spot down. I'll do the same thing for this one. Kind of trying to light my torch and do this all one-handed. Of course, I'll have to redo my bondo, but I got to get these high spots down, and that'll relieve some of the pressure on this low spot. Maybe I can get it out. You can see it's turning blue right here in the middle. I want to get a bigger spot here. This one I am going to hit with a hammer. Get a better angle. Yeah, that caved it in pretty good. And hit it with some cold water. And that'll finish shrinking it. So I got a pretty good dent right here right now. Yeah. That moved it in probably 1/8 of an inch. And I'm looking here at my straightness. Now the bondo's a little high, which is fine. I don't really have any oil cannon in it. I'm pretty straight across the top, starting about here. Pretty straight down here at the bottom. It's rocking a little right there. So I can see that I got a few high spots here. Let me get some of this bondo off and I'll shrink this area. Well, I got it pretty much straight across here now. From the back, it's flush over there. And I'm sticking out a little here. But it's rocking right in here. I think this is the bondo that's causing that. So I need to basically grind all this bondo off that's right in this area to start over again. It was just getting to be too much and I had to knock it down. My bed is probably not real straight anymore in here, but that's not seen. And this is what's the important part. Let me knock some of this bondo down and see how close we are. Well, I got all the burned bondo off of it and DA'd down. I've got a few low spots in it now, but it's pretty straight from the back up to the front. And that's really all I wanted to do. It don't look too bad. It was pretty crooked to start with, so now just put a good coat of bondo on here with a wide spreader. We'll see what we got. Well, there's that. I put it on with a drywall knife. It's pretty straight all the way across there. And I got a little bit of filling to do. I'll let this dry a little bit, hit it with a DA, just knock down some of the high spots, and I'll put another real thin coat. But that's much better there. There's not much bondo on it. I cut a lot of it off there and burn it off, but that's nice and straight now, so I shouldn't have any trouble finishing that up. Bondo work always takes a long time, so while that's drying, I'll get over here and finish making this piece here and get it welded up. Well, there's a second coat on the bed. That looks real good. It's dead flat across there. Looks like I have a little low spot right towards the front, but the back of it's real nice and it's all straight. So another coat of that. I finished welding this bracket up on here. It burnt me a couple holes in it. I'll fix them. But this looks pretty good. I've got another piece cut out here. I'm not sure which way this goes. Like this, probably. Yeah. this one's ready to get welded up in there. I need to clean it up a little better probably, but I did trim this a little. I need to clean it up, get it ready to weld, and I can put this piece in it. Looks like I've got something right there that's holding it. That'll come out easy enough. And I can tack this in, and I'll have almost all my fender. That bottom I'm not particularly worried about. I might put a couple pieces on it, but this will take the real long back and get it done. So I'll take my flapper wheel and clean this up, tack it in, and see what it looks like. Well, there's that second piece welded in. It's all a little crooked there, but I think this big place is straight. So what I need to do is grind it all off, and then use a hammer and dolly that all flat. Might have to cut it in a couple places, but I think this is going to be good enough. I think I'll go put it on and see what it looks like as it is. Well, it don't look too bad. Barely feel any room in there. This is all good here. So it don't look like I changed my stuff much. I can't really look in there to see how straight it is, but I tried to make this edge up here kind of flush with the inside of this mount. Got a little grinding to do up here. Not bad though. This all looks pretty good in here. I don't remember if I put one in the bottom here. I think it's just from here to there. It didn't really change the curve or anything. So I think that's pretty good. My bondo kind of hardened up. Boy, I got a mess here. And that looks real good. A little bit there in the front. Where's my lovely straight edge here to this? And you can see there that it's good and straight. I might have a little bit high right here. The bottom is good. A little bit more right there. But it's a whole lot better than it was. I'll finish the bondo on this, get it straight as I can, and then I can work on this fender. I'll probably finish this one up first, but At least the lip is in there, and it ought to hold this welt real good. I'll crawl up under there and see what I can do about what I can hit there with a hammer and straighten out, and then I'll just try to match that angle on the inside. Looks like it's a little high right here. I think that was a brace or something that went across there. But basically I got a real good line. Of course I haven't done anything down here yet, but kind of half a day I'm playing with this and a half a day with the bed. So I think this is a workable deal, and I can put 2 big bolts in it, or at least one right in here. This will pull it real tight into that bed. So I think we're good to go.